everybody. Welcome to episode, I think it's 54. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it on the screen. Of My Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. Only a little bit of crochet over this past few months, although I do have some today. I find with crochet now, I have a bad shoulder and I find crochet really sets it off. So I don't do as much crochet as I would like. When I started the podcast, I was a crocheter who was learning to knit, and I made a lot of toys and all sorts of things, and it's really weird. It's kind of come full circle because now I feel like I'm a knitter who does a little bit of crochet. It's really weird, but I still do love it. I can only work on anything crochet for about half an hour before that shoulder really starts to hurt, and I don't know why, because it's not, I think it's because I do it when I'm crocheting, it's like that and it's twisting the muscle all the time. I think that must be why. But yeah, all that was to say, there is a little bit of crochet today. Today is Tuesday the 29th of May. I am filming this a day early because we've got June vlogs starting, which start on Thursday. So the first vlog will be on Thursday. So this podcast will go up the day before. I am going to be doing vlogs a little bit different this time. Normally we do the full month of vlogs, and we are doing, but we're not going to be vlogging on a weekend. Just because weekends are really hard to vlog on. We don't do very much. Luigi, what are you doing? You're scratching on the floor. Luigi! Sorry about that. We don't do very much on a weekend, and it's just really hard to find content for a vlog on a weekend. Plus, I want to keep the podcast going. I'm very aware that a lot of people don't like the vlogs, and it always makes me feel really bad when I do the vlogs that the podcast gets missed. And the first podcast back after vlogging, it takes me a little bit to get back into it as well. So what I thought I'd do is not vlog on a weekend, which makes it a lot easier for me. And that way I can still do the podcast, but that will be on, it'll be like 2 weeks on Sunday after today. It'll still be 2 weeks away, but it'll be on the Sunday. So I won't be showing, I will show some knitting on the vlog, but I won't be showing everything that I'm working on. That's the plan. Whether that all goes to plan or not, I don't know. The other thing is, we are still going to be doing the live on the 15th of June like we did last month. So that day there won't be a vlog. It'll just be, it will just be the live that day as well. So they're the only times that we're going to miss. We do have some admin things to talk about. The Test Your Limits Mal and the hashtag Take It Easy Mal are both coming to an end on the 1st of June. That's Bert at the front door. Honestly, the second you press record, does it all start? Let me just let the cat in. Honestly, he swings on the front door handle when he wants to come in, and then he'll just keep on doing it until you let him in. So I had no choice but to stop. Anyway, so yeah, the hashtag, the mals that we've got running both end on the 1st of June. So on the 1st of June, we are going to announce winners. Now, I know that some of you that have entered don't watch the vlogs. I'm going to announce them again on the podcast as well. Danny just really wants to announce them on the vlogs. So it doesn't matter if you don't watch the vlogs and you miss it, you only watch the podcasts, because on the next podcast I'll announce it there as well. I hope that's okay with everybody. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. So we're going to announce winners. I think we've got 2 prizes each. So there's 4 prizes in total. I know a lot of people have entered both anyway. So that is that. And I think that is all the admin things I've got to talk about. Now, this episode is all going to be about the Ranunculus, bar 1 project, 2 projects. So settle in, because I became a little bit obsessed. You can see it's what I'm wearing. So I did talk about this a little bit in the last episode. I had started a Ranunculus, and I was just saying what a fantastic pattern it was. I was just blown away by this pattern. I really was. And I'd seen everybody, you know, it was a huge thing a few years ago. Everybody was making the Ranunculus. And I'd seen this and just thought, nah, I don't really tend to go for bandwagons. But I'd seen Dawn from the Dawn's Days podcast. She also has the Woven Almanac channel as well. I'll link them both in the description box below. They're very good. If you don't watch Dawn, you'll love those. Anyway, Dawn had put a post on Instagram about the ranunculus she was making, and I had some yarn, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. Now, oh, absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. I have had so many messages. If you're in the Facebook group, there is a Facebook group for the podcast. Oh, which reminds me, I need to talk about Patreon as well. In fact, I'll interrupt myself right now and just mention Patreon. You know that we did start Patreon up last September. We did take the decision the beginning of May to close Patreon, so that is no longer something that we do. We told patrons beginning of May, and that closes. It'll be the end of May, that closes. So we don't actually have Patreon anymore. You may have noticed it's no longer on any of the information that I put in the description box below. And it wasn't anything bad. It was just time. It was just, I did not have enough time for it all. And I kind of felt like the channel was suffering a little bit. I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do on the channel, and I wasn't giving enough to Patreon. So it was just a time thing. I just thought, I can't do it at this moment in time. So I stopped it. So yeah, if you've been looking for us on Patreon, you won't find us. What was I saying? So I've had a few messages. If you're in the Facebook group, you've seen all these in there anyway. And I've had quite a few messages over the past week or so about people wanting to knit the ranunculus but being scared of it. And I will just say, if you want to do it, just go for it. There is nothing scary in this pattern at all. I linked a video in the last episode, Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks. I'm really sorry, I can't remember what her name was, but she's fantastic and I have subscribed to her channel. And she has a whole playlist on the ranunculus. So any stitches that you may not be familiar with, she's really good at explaining it. The ranunculus does come with tutorials in the pattern as well. But I found the ones from Sun Dragon really, really good because she was talking you through it. So if you're scared, just go for it. There was nothing difficult. The best bit was this cast on. It really was. It's a double twisted cast on. And you're kind of like just doing this. It's really, really fun. But yeah, it's such a fantastic project. And it is so, so versatile. So let's just get into showing you what I've got. This is my first one. This is DK Weight. Now, I did not get gauge at all. I talked about it on the last episode. I can't remember what the gauge was. I think it may have been 14 stitches per 4 inch, and I didn't. I got 16 stitches per 4 inch. I had gone up a needle size to a 6.5, and I really did like the fabric that gave. So I went with my own gauge, chose my ease that I wanted. I didn't want it too oversized. So that is what I came up with. It's not cropped. This one sits just hip length and it's beautiful. The only thing I did was I took a couple of the knit rows out in the yoke because the armholes can come quite deep, and I was just a little bit concerned they'd be too deep. So I took there's a couple of plain knit rounds in. Well, there's more, but I just took a couple of plain knit rounds out in the yoke, and I absolutely love it. The yarn is one that I dyed for myself. I dyed it for the rock pull sweater, and then I didn't get on with the sweater, so I'd frogged it, and so that's the yarn, which is just gorgeous. I used 300-gram skeins of yarn, so it didn't use much at all. I've still got 2 skeins of this yarn left, which I don't know what I want to do with, but I'll find something cool. There's a Stephen West pattern actually that's DK weight that I'm kind of eyeing up, so it might be that. Yeah, and I think that's everything. So this one is long sleeve. This is for winter, so unfortunately can't wear it yet. The thing with the ranunculus is you can knit it in any weight yarn from 4-ply up to worsted, I believe. So I'm kind of trying them all. Now, as soon as I finished this, I just wanted to cast on another, and I was just like, I enjoyed that so much. I just want to do it again. I have never done that with a project. Never. I have made a pattern more than once, being the Show Us Your Scraps mitt by Laura Bales, who is the Lonely Knitter. I've made that pattern 7, 8 times, and I think that's the only pattern, apart from the sock head slouch and the sock head cowl, that I've made more than once. So for me to cast another one straight on, that is how much I enjoyed it. So this yarn is, I don't know if you remember, it's the yarn that Danny dyed that he thought he'd messed up. I think it was last month, and I just like nabbed it. I'm like, right, that's mine. Now, I only had one skein. So I didn't want to put anything with it, so I thought I'll keep this second one cropped. I held this with an undyed yarn, and I used a 6.5mm needle again. And I thought, right, I'll just keep it really cropped to wear over my summer dress. You know, like on a summer's evening when it gets a bit cold and you've got a little dress on. So this is what I've done. Let me just push the chair back. And that is how that sits. So my hip is here and it just comes to my hip. And that is that. I ran out of yarn just there, and that's just a 20-gram mini that I had just for the ribbon, but I kept it really cropped. Not as cropped as the pattern calls for, but it's still quite cropped because it goes with this dress, which I thought looked really nice. So I can get plenty of wear out of this in the summer. The arms, there are different versions for every part of this pattern. There really is. You can do it cropped, longer length, long sleeve, short sleeved. It's just amazing. It's got a wider neckline and a shorter neckline. So I went for the wider neckline both times, and it feels like when you first start it, this is never going to fit around my neck, but it does. So this is the wider neckline. And like I said, I wanted this one short sleeved. So there are different versions of the short sleeves you can do. The one that I've done is the rolled sleeve. If you can just, it just rolls a little bit. Not much, it just rolls a little bit. I really like that effect. If you don't like, I feel like I'm too far away now. Pull my chair over. It's hard to pull because I've got a really thick rug on the floor, so the chair doesn't move very easily. If you don't like the rolled sleeves, it tells you how to put a rib on it, which is just, again, brilliant. So with the rolled sleeves, you literally, as you separate for the sleeves, that's it, they're finished. It's done. It's so, so good. So this ranunculus that I'm wearing now, I started it on the Monday and I finished it Friday. That is how quick. And it's not that I'm this crazy fast knitter. It's 6.5mm needles. I had nothing to do on the sleeves whatsoever. So it was just knitting, and you can see that it's cropped. So that's why it was done quickly. Oh, my nose is running. I'm really sorry. But yeah, if you don't like the option of rolled sleeves, it would tell you to follow the instructions for the long sleeve version and put a rib on. That just means that you've got these stitches held on waste yarn. So you've got an option then to put the rib on. This way, you literally cast it off as you're separating for the sleeves. It's such a good pattern. It is so well written. So yeah, that was my 2 weeks, just jumping on the ranunculus bandwagon and getting totally obsessed and not wanting to get off. And I still don't want to get off. I got a package from my friend Sue. You know, my friend Sue in Canada has the Distant Stitches podcast. She hasn't podcast for a little while. She is thinking about doing another one. She does it with Liz as well, which is fantastic. And we've been friends for such a long time now, and we send each other packages all the time. So she'd sent me a package out, and let me show you. She sent me these, which immediately I thought, ooh, another ranunculus. So I have 2 skeins. So 2 skeins would be more than enough to do a ranunculus a little bit longer with longer sleeves. The only reason I have not cast on is because I don't know whether to do it just 4-ply or hold... What was that noise? What was that? I don't know. It can't be anything. It'll be fine. Yeah, just 4-ply or hold it with undyed yarn. I haven't decided yet. I was speaking to my other friend Diane, who is Uterine Yarncraft, and she has made a bunch of ranunculuses, and she said she's done every version, and that's kind of what I want to do. So I may bite the bullet and just I might just try it. I might just swatch with the just 4-ply and see how we get on. But I will be starting another Ranunculus over June vlogs. I know I will. I'm not going to be able to resist, and this is for it. So this is Southern Skeins. It was the April sock box. 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. The main skein is called Coleus. That's a cool name. And it's just like orange and peach and cream and green, and it's just beautiful. And it's got a mini. I'll put that in my mini stash. So yeah, she sent me that. She did send me lots of other things. I won't show you them all here. I was totally, utterly spoiled. But I've got a new project. Oh no, before I go on to the new project, let me just show you. I do have one more finished object. Do you know, I'm really sorry. This podcast is all... I don't know what is going on. I am so sorry. It's all a bit disjointed, isn't it? Never mind, never mind. I have another finished object, which is... I can't believe I forgot about this. So I finished this yesterday. This is the crochet I was talking about. And this is my C2C Join As You Go. I started this in December last year. It has taken forever to finish because I can't crochet as much as I used to do. Now, I do have a tutorial on the playlist. If you go onto the playlist and look at tutorials, you'll see a tutorial for this blanket. I've made one before. And it's just 10 gram minis. Each of the little squares are 10 by 10 blocks. I used a 3mm crochet hook, and it is just join as you go. So you basically do one square, then you move on to the next square, and you join it onto the first square as you go. It's such a fun project, and I love the effect, the patchwork effect that you get from it. It's just absolutely fantastic. The first one that I made was 10 blocks by 8 blocks. This one is 10 by 7. The reason I've made this one a little bit smaller is for the cats. They are just a nightmare. I'm just looking out the window. At the end of our garden, we have some really long grass because it's a bog. So the gardeners have said you're best off just leaving the grass to grow, and it can try and soak up some of the water. So it's just left totally wild at the end of the garden. Anyway, Stuart's just gone into it, and Jack's just crept up proper stealth mode. Crept up to him like that, and then tried to pounce on him, but he's lost him, he's disappeared. Anyway, so this is 10 by 7 blocks. The reason being, it will cover me nicely in the winter on the sofa without dangling down the edge of the sofa where the cats can claw it. Luigi has this habit. If you've got anything dangling down the sofa, he lays on his side, he gets his paws on the sofa, and he just crawls up like that. And anything that's dangling just gets ruined. So that is the reason I made this one 10 by 7, just so that doesn't happen to my precious blanket. I did put 3 rounds of crochet ribbon on. I won't even begin to tell you the colourways that are in here. They are all just 10 gram minis or scraps. My first advent calendar went into it in December. And then it was just after that, 10 gram minis and scraps. And I absolutely love it. So that is also finished too, and all ready for the winter. Right. Now, let's just move into a whip, and I'll tell you about the yarn as we go along. Right. So that is over here. I've cast on another sock. I'm doing this isn't Danny's sock. I'm doing Danny's socks. He's having the Danny's year of sock, which I've created him his whole hashtag because he was saying he didn't have enough socks. So I've been making him a pair of socks each month. But I'm making him... The idea for Danny is, because I have the Stephen West ebook, the Year of the Socks, I'm going to make him those. There's been quite a few of them that I haven't made. Last month's been one of them. Not because I didn't like the patterns. Sometimes there were colour work or just something I didn't feel like doing. So I wait for Stephen's pattern to come out for that month. It's usually between the 4th and the 6th of the month. I wait for that to come out. If I don't like it, I make him a pair of vanilla socks. And that's how I've been doing it. So it was too soon to cast on Danny's socks. Now I know I've got a lot of pairs of socks and I really don't need any more, but I'm always going to make socks. So I have cast on for myself a pair of socks. Look at these. Aren't they just beautiful? You're going to ask me what the yarn is. So the yarn, I feel so excited to get this. The yarn is Knit Picks Felice. I have wanted some for so long. My voice went a little bit there. I've wanted some for so long. And when my friend sent me the package out, she popped some in the package for me. So this is it. And it doesn't say what colourway this is, I don't think. I was looking. It's just a number, which is 59922. So with Knit Picks Felice, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think they don't repeat the colourway. So once it's gone, it's gone. So she sent this one for me, and so the 50-gram balls. So she sent me 2, so I've got enough for a pair of socks. Honestly, it is beyond soft. It is so nice. It's beautiful. It's like butter. It really is. And she also sent me 2 for Danny as well. So again, it doesn't say what it is, but the colourway is 59923. And just so for Danny's next socks, he has got this waiting for him. It is just, I feel so lucky to have some Knit Picks Felice. I was going to order some. I've registered on the Knit Picks site, and I was going to order some, but we get such custom charges in this country. It's just crazy. When Sue sends me something out, I always get a charge, and that's just on a gift. So I've just thought I daren't order it because I don't know what the charges would be if it's something I've bought from a company. And I've heard some horror stories of when people have bought from Stephen West or anywhere, the charges that they've had when it's come into the country. So I've not bothered doing it. But I'm very lucky that my friend sent me some. So I am just, it is beautiful. So I cast on some for myself, 64 stitches, and I've just done a plain vanilla sock because obviously I want to see every ounce of these stripes, and they are gorgeous. I didn't have anything for the heels. I did consider not putting a contrast heel and toe in, but I'm going to get hated for saying this. When it's striped yarn, I really don't like it if you've put the heel in and you just get like a tiny bit here. It really plays with my OCD. Do you know what I mean? Does that make me sound really bad? So I thought if that happens, I'm going to be so cross. And that I like it when you get the stripes on the heel, but when you just get a tiny bit of colour just there, I don't like it. I would have had to take the heel out. So I went through my stash, I found some scraps, and that was the best one that I could match it up with, which I thought was quite similar to this one. I did have a green that I could have used, but it wasn't the same green as that. Similar again, but it would have been far too obvious. So yeah, I have done, how many rounds? I've got stitch markers in. I did 35 rounds of the leg, 15 rounds of 2x2 ribbon, and a shadow wrap heel. I do like the shadow wrap heel. The shadow wrap heel and the afterthought heel are my absolute favourite. In fact, I was watching Jeanette's May vlogs the other day, and you know we've been doing the whole Ukraine sock thing. So she's always said Jeanette makes the most amazing toys, and she's a fantastic sewer, fantastic crocheter. But she always says with knitting she's not as confident, and she should be because she makes some gorgeous things. And she was knitting the Ukraine socks, and she'd said the only thing that puts her off socks is the heel flap and gusset. Now, I'm exactly the same way. It's just not something I enjoy doing, and I know so many people love it. And that's the good thing about knitting socks. It doesn't matter if you like the heel flap and gusset or the shadow wrap heel or the afterthought heel or what's the other one's called? Is it a peasant heel? Have I made that up? I think it's a peasant heel. There's all different heels, and that's the really good thing with socks is if you don't like one particular heel, you can change it. And it was so funny because she was saying, you know, I've been put off socks because of one heel, and now she's discovered the afterthought heel, which she absolutely loves, and she feels like she can knit socks now. And it is so true. If you're knitting socks and, you know, you're struggling with something, just try a different way. It's the same with toes. There's all different types of toes you can do. I do, I don't know what it's called. I think it might be the wedge toe. I decrease at each end until I get down to 14 stitches, and then I Kitchener it together. But there's an umbrella toe as well. You could also, sorry, I've gone into a little bit of a rant here, but you can also knit socks toe up, so you can start at the toe, which I've done twice, I believe, and I'm just not very good at the cast on. There are plenty of cast ons, and a lot of my friends love toe up socks, and they only knit toe up socks. But there's just, the thing with socks is they're so variable. There's so many things you can do. You can buy a sock tube and just put your own heels, toes and cuffs in. You can knit them 2 at a time. I've seen people knit them 3 at a time. I mean, wow, what is that about? And they are just so versatile, which is why we love making them. So yeah, that is my knit picks for each socks, and I cannot wait for them to be done. What I'm going to do, because I'm not going to use this full ball, I'm going to, rather than casting on the second sock in the second ball, I'm just going to start the second sock with this ball. So I've used every single scrap, and then connect that ball to it. And then see how much yarn I've got left, because I only tend to use about 45 to 50 grams. So no, that can't be right. That can't be right. Maybe it is. Maybe I do only use 50 grams for a pair of socks. But I'd have a whole ball left, and I could make some shorties as well. I do think I only use 50 grams. We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, that's them. And that is all of my works in progress, I believe. That's everything I've been working on. I have only got, are you ready for this? 1 whip. Apart from these socks, 1 whip. And that is, oh, I need some advice on that, honestly. You're going to have to help me out with that. That's my Stephen West, which I will grab now. So, it is living in this bag, and I don't know what to do. So this is the Slipstravaganza. I've made no progress on it since last time I showed you all, and I can't see me making any progress on it either. So I absolutely love this pattern, and I love the colours that I've chosen, and I love my yarn. And for the first time ever of me showing this to you, I am not in the middle of a row. So this is it. Isn't it beautiful? I absolutely love it. I am at the point where I hate doing these rows. They're just too long. They are just too long, and I'm just not enjoying it. Each row is taking me an hour because I'm putting it down every few minutes, and I'm really not enjoying it. But I've still got about 12 rows to go, which, if I did 1 row a day for the next 12 days, this would be finished. But when I'm knitting anything, if I don't enjoy it, I'll frog it. I have no qualms about frogging something I don't enjoy. I've done it so many times, and if I don't enjoy it, if it's not bringing me joy, that's it, it goes. Now, this is where we're at with this. The problem is I cannot possibly frog all this work. I mean, look how amazing it looks. So, I kind of wish that I hadn't put the yellow in. If I hadn't put the yellow in and just put an I-cord border on there and finished it there, it would be fine. The problem is now I've done how many rows of the yellow? 1. So in order to finish that yellow, I've got 3 more rows to do. Oh, I should just do it, shouldn't I? I'm going to finish it earlier than what the pattern says. Now, what would you do? Would you force yourself to finish the pattern repeat? So you see these chevron bits here. I'll have a yellow one, and then I'll put a black stripe in the middle, and then I'll go to this bluey coloured one, and then I'll put the I-cord border on. That's all I've got to do. but it's taking forever and I'm not enjoying it. So should I just finish the yellow and then put the I-card border on and call it done? I mean, it's big enough. It's not like it's not going to go around me. It's more than big enough. But if I force myself to carry on with this pattern, I'm either going to leave it sat in a bag, and it's taking up needles that I need, and a bag that I need. It's just going to sit and I'm not going to finish it. My nose is really running. It must be hay fever. One sec. That's better. It's blew my nose. So yeah, what would you do? I can't frog it. There's no way I can frog it. I love it too much. It was just a step too far for me on the amount of stitches. And I had black yarn as well, which was just crazy. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, it was just too many stitches. So let me know what you'd do. Shall I just get another couple of rows in of the yellow, then put the I-card border on and call it done? I think that's what I'm going to do. Or would you say, no, Alex, just finish it. It's 12 rows. For goodness sake, get on with it and you'll be pleased you did. Let me know. But yeah, that is my only other whip. I have got no other whips at all. I have been so good. I have not cast on all of the things. It's because it's summer, isn't it? I don't want to cast on anything too big with it being summer. So that is it for all of my works in progress, or one of them, well, two if you count the Stephen West, and my obsession with the Ranunculus. There's not been much else to tell you what's been going on. You saw the live. Thank you to those of you that came to the live that we did. We had an absolute blast, but I must tell you, we were so tired afterwards. I don't know why. You know, we die all the time, so it was only sort of an hour. We die much longer than that, but we were so tired afterwards. But it was just lovely, the interaction that we had, and it was just absolutely brilliant. So we have decided we'll do the live yarn dyeing once a month. That yarn is going into the update on Thursday. The shop update is at 7 p.m. on Thursday on the website, which is all linked below. And if you're unsure which was the yarn that was dyed live, what we thought we'd do is we'd put its own special belly band on, so you can see that that's the live dyed yarn. I haven't even designed it yet. I'm going to do that today. It'll have something on the picture so you know that that was the yarn that we dyed live if you just wanted to have a look at it or purchase it or whatever. So there is that. That was, honestly, thank you so much for those of you that came to join us. We're going to do it again on the 15th of June, and I hope that you'll come and join us again then. It was just lovely. The colours that you put together was just absolutely amazing. And that there's one, oh my word, it's gorgeous. It's pink. It's not pink. Oh, where did I get pink from? There's no pink in it. It's green and brown. It's absolutely beautiful, like a bluey green colour and brown. It's like mint choc ice cream. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I wouldn't have put those colours together. And they just are the perfect match. And that's what's really interesting, like the colours that we do. And then when somebody says, no, do this and that, it's like, I would never have thought of that. And it's so weird that everybody has these different opinions and it just works. It just absolutely works. So we take no credit for the yarn that was dyed live. That was all you guys. And they are your colours, not ours, and it's your inspiration. So yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic. I feel a little bit guilty selling it because we didn't actually choose it. I feel like I'm like taking your ideas. Do you know what I mean? It's really weird. But yeah, it is just brilliant. So we're going to do it again. We're going to do it once a month, and just something that we do each month. And that's been about everything. We've had some really hot weather in the UK. We really have. It was Danny's mum's birthday last week, so we met up with her on Saturday, and we just went and sat out in the local beer garden, and we were sat in the sun. I wasn't sat very long, but oh, look at see if I can show you. Look at that. I mean, it looks better now than it was, but oh, that has been sore, really, really sore. So it's just been so warm. It's been lovely. It's just been them kind of days where it's just lazy summer days. You're walking around in flip-flops and it's just been lovely. I think it's set to stay nice as well for the next week. Fingers crossed. So yeah, we haven't done very much. We're looking forward to June vlogs. We're going to try and get out and about a little bit on the vlogs and take you around the local area a little bit, see what we can find. We've got a few ideas. Nowhere extravagant, just sights to see around our local area. So that should be interesting, hopefully. Fingers crossed. You watch, it'll do nothing but rain during June and we won't be able to do anything. Hopefully not. Anyway, I am going to stop waffling on. I'm going to let you all get on. I will, hopefully, some of you will join us tomorrow for June vlogs. And I hope you all have a lovely, crafty couple of weeks. The podcast will be back in 2 weeks, but it'll be on the Sunday, not the Thursday. And it'll correct in July. I'll correct it back in July. So, yeah, have a lovely 2 weeks, everybody.